Hey guys, this is a quick update on the build, and I wanted you to check out what am I doing at level 85, what are my plans, how is my gear going, and I'm soon starting to move up in my map tiers. My map base is like still a little bit shabby, but I plan to buy some maps, some tier 8s, so I can progress faster because my RNG was like terrible. I couldn't even sustain tier 6 as you can see, and tier 7 is fine, but I kinda stuck on tier 7 right now and running out. So as far as gear goes, I have some pretty shitty pieces, like everything here you can see is paid like 2 or 3 chaos for the gloves, I think 5 or 6 chaos for the helm, around 10 chaos for the shield, but I bought my shield very early. Shield with this amount TS is probably like 5 chaos now. 1 C for the stalkers, 1 C for the magnate, 1 chaos for the Chayula, like 2 chaos for this ring, and I think I paid like 8 chaos for this one because it's a pretty decent ring. And I managed to get one of these flasks very early for like 12 chaos. I think I bought it for 12 chaos, yeah, it was 12C. They skyrocketed in price and I kinda rushed buying it, but it's not necessary to have it until you get rid of Eye of Chayula, start trying double curse. So basically how I plan to progress with my gear is currency farming is going like pretty fine. In about a day or two I will have enough money to afford myself a Heretic's Veil and a decent shield. After that I'm gonna start saving up for rubies, even though I recommended that you get rubies first. There are just no good rolls for a reasonable price ATM. All the good roll rubies people want to exalts for, and I think that's ridiculously overpriced. I would never pay more than an exalt for like 29 and or 30% block rubies concoction, so I'm going to wait until the market settles a bit on that flask, and I'm just gonna buy the other pieces of my gears first, namely the Heretic's Veil and the shield with at least 450 S. I'm going to work from there. For a chest, I plan to eventually get the S version of Atziri Splendor once they start surfacing on the market, and that's gonna be about it. The rest of the gear is just going to be filler pieces with just some ES and resist like boots and gloves and jewelry. This flask has actually proven itself to be a decent replacement for Eye of Chayula, but I'm going to wait a bit on just relying on the flask until I can get access to the endgame laboratory. I have only completed 3 trials so far, not because I didn't get any trials, but because I got the same trial like 5 times in a row and I was pretty pissed about that. When I get access to the endgame lab, I have some stuff saved here, like where is it? Twice enchanted. I plan to use these. I checked the market, they're not too expensive. I basically plan to use these and to get myself that 80% stun avoidance, which is going to be enough in the rare fringe cases when your flask is down. And I think for the boss fights, with the flask, a bit of flask duration you get on the tree, this flask lasts on almost 4 seconds, and I don't think literally any boss in the game can survive 4 seconds unless it's like Uber Atziri or something, and you can always swap in Eye of Chayula and Deadly's Damning for those fights. I plan to overcap my resist, so I can do that kind of a swap for those fights, but in most part I will not focus on those fights, and I don't plan to do much Uber runs. I'll probably record a run or two. I'll probably do a run or two until I can record a clean run, so you can see what it's like and how much the new jewels and the free 7th link have improved the damage in that fight. But in general we just focus on mapping, and for mapping this flask with the stun avoidance is going to work wonders. So that's about the gear and stuff. And now I'm going to do a map so you can kind of see how the build feels and how it performs. I'm having a bit of frame drops right now, but it's not a big issue. So far the map clearing speed has been pretty satisfying, although once I get like quality on whirling blades and quality on faster attacks, I think it's going to improve like a tenfold. It's going to be much better. It's going to feel much smoother, which is more important. Oh, iron leg, that's nice. But as you can see, my profile is always open, it's never set to private, so you can always check my progress and see stuff I change on the fly, if you're interested in that kind of thing. You can already see that I'm using trap cooldown recovery in my Deerstalker, basically my pseudo 5 link or 6 link now with the new jewels, and damage is quite satisfactory. Like I'm able to one-shot most blue packs. Like only thing that I cannot one-shot with trap cooldown recovery is the Union of Souls pack, and that's pretty much it. Everything else is just one trap and move on, one trap and move on. And you have to be a bit more liberal with your usage of lightning trap when fighting some of the tankier rare monsters. For example, necromancers or golems can have quite a bit of HP, so you need to like just throw your lightning trap a bit more freely, don't like save it, because these mid-tier bosses don't really require more than one usage of lightning trap, so you don't have to worry that you will run out for the boss fight. Like most of them really aren't even necessary, you don't even need to use lightning trap for them. As far as the survivability goes, I've been testing the Sorrow of Divine unique flask, and I have to say that my initial thoughts about the flasks were that it's a shitty flask, and I still think that after testing a bit, playing in maps with it. And the reason is the consecrated ground is incredibly small, and you basically instantly move away from it, so you don't really get any region. Like maybe in Uber at Series Zone, when you're a bit more static and you can achieve that region a bit more consistently, it's decent, but I still would prefer literally any other flask over it. I don't think it's worth a unique flask slot. As far as survivability goes, as you can see, as I moved into tier 7 and 8 maps, I started using Enfeeble over vulnerability, and it really does wonders for your survivability. Like I barely ever, as you can see, I barely ever dropped like below 70% TS, let alone below half. And I've fought some Beyond mobs, I've fought a backset, I fought some pretty, did some pretty heavy damage board maps because I'm already alking maps, and I never really feel in danger, even though I have like only 8000 energy shield, and that is quite enough for these kind of maps, for this tier of maps, and I don't plan to rush upgrading my gear until I start doing like at least tier 11s. I think this kind of ES threshold is enough for like tier 8 to 10 maps, and you always have Val Discipline to use in those crutch situations if you need to, but I rarely ever need to use it, so it's not a big deal. Like you don't have to overspend for gear. As I said, most of my pieces are 5Ks and they're performing quite satisfactory. As far as a skill tree goes, I will be posting a revised endgame version soon after I upload the video, because I'm going to do some minor changes to the tree that I feel is just a bit more efficient than what I originally planned. And I plan to get myself a level 3 Enlightened as soon as I get key pieces of my gear like Rubies, Splendor and the Shield. The next purchase is going to be Heretic's Veil, a +1 Curse Amulet, and the level 3 Enlightened, so I can sustain mana, because you're going to be stretched on mana. You need something like 200 210, 250 unreserved mana, so you can throw at least 2 traps before you need to pop your flask. That is very important because it allows for much smoother gameplay. Magnet is quite nice for mapping, for having your flask charged up consistently, but sadly I don't think it will stick in the build because until I get some godly gear I will probably need at least 1 resist on my belt. But I plan when I get enough currency to have a bit more freedom with my gear, I plan to bring the magnet back because no other belt can make your flask charge up as consistently, and magnet to 50% charges gate is just incredible. It's much better than the charges gate and the reduced charges use combination that you can get with the rare belt, and it's also very rare to get that useful combination with other useful stats on the rare belt, so it's like both accessible, rather cheap, and does the job, so that's why I mostly use the magnet. But temporarily, like somewhere between level 88 to 91, 92, I think I'll need to use a rare belt just for a while so I can sort my resistances, because my helm has quite a bit of resist now, and it's gonna have to go away once I start using heretics well. That's unless I get some insane boots and gloves. If that happens and I get that for an affordable price, I will stick with the magnet for sure. So that's for now. Like, I don't like to upload mid-tier maps and shit, but it's early in the league and my map pace is just the way it is, so you're gonna have some patience. In a few days I'll probably have a red map to upload so you can see the build performance in a red map. But right now in a 4-link, by using trap cooldown game, I think you had quite a nice look at how the damage and how the clear speed is, and I think you'll be pretty satisfied. See you later.